Elena, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, with Linked Revolution and what you've created in your own business. So, like, the first thing I would like to know is what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced before you joined Linked Revolution, before you joined the program?
Thank you, Daniel, for inviting me to share my story. And yeah, I love the word challenge and challenges, although I'm seeing it as an opportunity. So my biggest challenge was how to market myself, how to put myself out there, how to find clients. And it was feeling not right for me. I even didn't know who my ideal clients are because it was just the beginning of a new journey. And it was quite a scary journey at the beginning. Why? Because I lost my job. In 2014, I was a CEO of a company. I was building this company for more than 15 years, and it was quite shocking, and it was quite a huge change. And I'm completely aware that I chose the pathway of being a professional coach a year ago, and still it was quite scary. So, okay, now what? Where do I start from? And the fear was actually the big thing. And the marketing was never my thing. I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't like to sell. Although it's a little bit of a contradiction because I was building businesses over the years. And then, okay, so now how am I selling myself? Even the word sell was bothering me because the word itself was not aligned with who I am. If this answers your question.
Yeah, it does. So basically, the biggest challenge was how do you generate business in a way that feels authentic to you? Because you said like the word selling didn't resonate. No, the whole marketing. It's not just that you didn't know a lot about it. It was also like the way you were thinking that you have to do business wasn't something that was very exciting to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. For me, what was exciting was to coach and is to coach, and it will always be to coach. So, yeah, it was actually blocking me, like not allowing me to be who I am. And you know, there's a lot of information out there, like the marketing stuff. You should do this way, you should do this that way. And this is putting you in this framework, and you feel like paralyzed. Okay, so what am I going to do now? And I was just in a searching process. And what I want to share is that this was so difficult where to focus my attention on coaching, on marketing, on finding myself again after this huge transition, because this is a big change. You need to let go of the past. You need to liberate yourself. You need to work on yourself. And these are too many things happening at the same time. And it's a pretty scary place to be, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally understand. You know, I went through the pretty similar journey myself, you know, a couple of years ago. So totally resonate with that. So like when it comes to Linked Revolution, what made you decide to join Linked Revolution? What inspired you to join the program?
Well, that's a very, very simple answer. It's you. It's who you are. I saw your TEDx talk. It popped up somehow. I don't know from where, but it popped up in my LinkedIn, I believe. And I was just attracted because of the title of the talk itself. So I was curious, and I just listened to it, and I said, wow, this resonates with me. And I made a research, and I saw your profile. And then what attracted me was the way you were talking about doing business just by showing up authentically, by being who you are, by focusing on the right 2% for you, this target group, the people who share the same vision for the world, who have the same passions, the same values. And I felt like you're a genuine person and you walk your talk. That's what I sensed. And I had this a desire to connect with you and just to share about my journey where I am and just to take it from there. But you know, bringing humanity into business was the concept that really fascinated me, and it was something different I never heard before, because all the time we were, you know, we were taught how to push instead of pull, how to sell instead of attract, which was not me. I was not aligned with who I am. It didn't feel right. It felt so wrong. And that's what attracted me.
Okay. So then you joined Linked Revolution. It was November 2015 when you joined it. And then within the first 1 to 3 months, what are some of the outcomes that happened for you because you did the work in the program?
Many outcomes happened to me. And it's, I would say, a major shift, a breakthrough. That's what happened. And I would love first to talk about the inner thing, and then I will talk about the outer outcomes, which happen so naturally. Mm-hmm. First of all, I had a validation that I'm on the right track. And that's what your program gave me as an awareness, as a validation. Then this gave me the inspiration to show up authentically, to start sharing of who I am, just simply sharing of who I am. And what I did, I started to publish articles. And it was a major breakthrough because I was holding myself, you know, with this inner talk and gremlin messages. I'm not good enough. How can I do this? What people will say, and so on. And then I started to have outer outcomes, like people connecting with me, people being interested in me, just coming naturally to see my profile. Then I started to follow specific steps you were teaching us. And this manifested in 2 amazing contracts, which are long-term contracts with 2 UK companies. And basically I'm fully booked. But for me, the biggest impact was just be out there. Just don't try to be perfect. Don't try anything. Just be yourself and create impact. So that's what happened.
Yeah, oh wow. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing, because first, you know, you shared the inner work, and a lot of people, you know, sometimes forget that, but it's all, at the end of the day, you know, what I'm selling is not, I'm not selling a personal development program, but at the end of the day, you know, and you noticed it, I sneak personal development here and there into it, because at the end of the day, it's all about the work that we do within ourselves that creates everything else. Because when we're more confident about showing up authentically, you know, we are more confident about sharing, you know, content with the people in our network, people outside of that, and then, you know, things start to magically happen. But that only happens once you develop that confidence and that clarity and those kinds of things. So I really appreciate sharing that with me. So, like, okay, so you signed the 2 contracts with the British companies. I think you're coaching 9 of their directors and managers now, right?
Actually 10, because the sponsor decided last minute to include 1 more. And I'm finishing the first round, because this project has stages, and I'm finishing the first round at the end of March with the first 4, including the CEO, and I'm starting the second round in April with 6 more, and then it will be the long-term programs. Okay. So this is sort of the diagnostic phase, and it's quite fascinating.
Awesome. Wow.
It is fascinating because this person, the CEO, found me, and the values of the company and the way people show up resonate with me. I even find some similarities with my own journey as a CEO, and this feels so right for me. So yeah, it's like a magic.
Wow. Yeah. So that's one thing that happened in terms of the outer work. Then you also went into a partnership with an executive search firm, right?
Yeah. Actually, I'm about to sign this partnership. They want to work exclusively with me, and a big volume of work coming on my way. So I'm starting a new journey, and I'm learning right now how to balance how to keep on going and always be focused and always deliver the best, which is another thing. And I'm grateful for it because I realize that these are amazing projects where I can have more impact in the world. And because the volume is becoming, huge, bring more partnerships, bring more people working with me, which is fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So there's a lot of great things that are happening. So I just would like to go into the details of how you actually created this in the different parts. So let's talk about your LinkedIn profile first. Like, what did you do to your LinkedIn profile when going through the program? Like, does it look the same as before? Does it look completely different? What are the changes that you've made? Did you only change it once? Did you change it 100 times? So what did you do with it?
That's a very good question. Actually, this was one of the first assignments we had, I believe, after the first webinar. And it was quite a challenging exercise for me because I never thought how important the profile is, because this is who you are. And what I saw in my old profile, of course, I rewrote my profile. And what I saw in my old profile was the old me. It was a framework someone taught me or gave me, and I just put something there, but this was not who I am. And I thought, wow, so how can that be? And then I was struggling a lot. So I wrote a summary, which I think I sent to you. And then you encouraged me to say, okay, keep on going. And then I thought, this doesn't feel right. I know that there's no perfection. I don't believe in perfection because we are a work in progress. So I felt stuck. And then I decided to let it go and leave it as it is. And by the moment I decided to let it go, the next morning I woke up and something came. And I said, okay, let me just sit and write on this white sheet of paper who I am and what I believe in. And it happened. And then I thought, this is more like me. So that's my new LinkedIn summary. And I do believe that this is what attracts people. The articles where you share who you are, your beliefs about leadership, in my case, about my journey, the authentic story. And then it's my summary because you can see the alignment between the summary, who you are, and what you put out there, the articles. And this talks about authenticity. And actually, when I make a research and I want to connect with someone via LinkedIn, that's what I see. That's the only thing I see, the summary. And this talks to me. This doesn't mean that the people are not amazing, but as I was before, I just didn't think about it. I didn't use the capacity of this. And you just taught me how to do it. You provoked me to think. You challenged me, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, I mean, you made a huge change. I mean, now I use your LinkedIn summary as an example all the time because it's just something that is, written in a way. It's no corporate jargon. It's no BS. It's no, this is me. This is my experience. It's just, it's written in a way like when somebody would walk up to you and say, hey, what's your name? And tell me a bit about yourself. And then you start from a place of, here's why I do the work I do. Here's why I'm on this planet. Here's why, here's the purpose I'm coming from. And that's a huge part of it. And then the rest naturally flows into that, which is, how do you do the work that you do and what it is that you do and then what other people should do in order to reach out to you. And this is really powerful. So thanks for sharing that. Now, so you said most of the time what happens is people see your LinkedIn articles, they come to your profile, and then they connect with you. So what specifically, let's talk about the articles for a second. What specifically did you publish about in your case? So you're a leadership coach. You're working with executives, with leaders, with CEOs, also with entrepreneurs. So what are some of the things that you're talking about, that you're sharing in your content that attracts people to you, especially that attracts the right people to you?
I share about what I believe in. I share about my story. I share about my journey, authenticity. I don't limit myself, actually. I just follow my intuition. And most importantly, I write about what I really love. about my favorite topics. I don't force myself to write on a specific topic because I just want and I feel that there is a need for it. I'm just coming from a place what I feel is right in this moment. Or perhaps I'm inspired by a story, or I'm inspired by something and a client, and I just let this pour out on this white sheet of paper, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what I also noticed, that you're sharing a lot of stories, and that is so powerful, because with stories you can never do anything wrong, because all you do is you share a story, and then all you do is you share a story that happened, and then you show up authentically, and you cannot show up inauthentically if you're just sharing a story. It's like it's by design happening now. And by doing that, the great thing with stories is everybody can take out their own pieces for themselves.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to think about who's my ideal client, what are their challenges, what can I write about that it's going to help them solve a challenge. All you do is just simply share a story from your work, from your background, and something like that. And by doing that, then people can take the pieces out. And even if somebody, I don't know, something completely unrelated, somebody's a nurse and they read that article, they're probably going to get a lot of insights and a lot of value from that. Even though they're totally not your target market, they're totally not your, in that field, they're still going to get a lot of value. So you can't do anything wrong with stories. So that is really powerful. So once people then connect with you, what do you do afterwards? So you have, 10 people want to connect with you. They're most of them are in that market that you're targeting. They connected with you through an article. Now you accept their connection. Now what happens?
Yeah, that's a very good question. First of all, I make a research.
Mm-hmm.
Because you gave me the awareness that I'm in a position of choosing the right people who resonate with me. Meaning that I see their profile, I read their summary, I see if we have an alignment. I try to feel this. I use a lot of my intuition. And if it feels right, I follow up. I connect with them and I follow your sequences. You gave us wonderful sequences. You gave us wonderful structure, which is really helpful. And I'm very free within this structure. It's lovely to have the structure because it's sort of a reminder what to do. But then I switch off and then I'm more in a creative mode, meaning that I always feel the story, the pathway, and just make a specific message that resonates with the person. And it's a very successful formula. And I can tell you that this takes time because you want to do this right. And it might take me like 1 hour, 2 hours to read. Very often I just leave this for a while. I don't react right away. Even if I might get excited, then I leave it. I come back to myself. I might do something else, switch off, and then I come back to it. And only when I feel it right, then I send it out. And it works perfectly for me.
Yeah, because you're using your intuition. And because of that, it cannot not work. So this is absolutely brilliant. So is there anything specific that you often use in those messages, in those conversations? Is there any kind of specific concept that you use? You shared with me the why.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate a bit on that?
Yes, that's a beautiful concept. And you gave us this this formula. I would not even say the word formula, but start with the why is powerful.
Oh, it's actually from, just to give credit where credit is, this is from Simon Sinek. So I didn't invent this thing. I just leveraged Simon Sinek's concept in the different parts that we're using so to make people always aware that, as Simon Sinek perfectly pointed out, you got to start with why, because then everything else effortlessly and naturally follows.
Yeah, and you did it beautifully. It's so meaningful and powerful because when you ask the question why, you connect with someone on a deeper level. This is what we use as coaches as a powerful question to dig deeper into values and purpose and mission. And that's why it's so powerful, because it provokes the other person, even might give an awareness to the other person. Wow, why did I really do this? I had someone who connected with me like a few days ago, and I started with the why. Actually, this person saw my profile. Then I approached this person asking him, and then he came back to me right away. You feel like these people are thirsty. They just want to be engaged in a meaningful conversation. And I saw so much sense of purpose there. He was so much purpose driven. And this made me smile. And I replied with a long email and I said, I really love leaders who follow their passions, who want to make an impact. What I was seeing there was a lot of, impact, 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 passion. These words like, so it's so powerful, Daniel, really.
Wow. Yeah. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Wow. This is something that I use over and over again, because if you start from a place of why, and if you connect based on that, then you naturally only let those 2% into your world who already resonate with you, who already want to engage with you, who already are looking to do business with you at the end of the day. So that is really, really powerful. So just quickly going back to the articles, I just want to drive this point home, because a lot of people think, okay, I only have 200 views on my articles. They're not really getting read by anyone. I don't know what's happening. Can you elaborate on that? Because 2 days ago or 3 days ago, you sent me an email with the new statistics. How many articles have you published by now?
10.
10 articles.
Yeah.
How many views did you get combined on all those articles by now?
Over 800, close to
Over 800.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Because so many people think, okay, if I don't get at least 1,000 views per article, I'm not even going to put in the time to do this. And you're proving, you're fully booked now for it's now beginning of 2016. You're fully booked now for the entire year with the long-term engagements. You even take time off now because you've been so much involved in the business in March.
Yeah.
So, and most of these things, they happen because you're publishing articles, because you're publishing content. And overall, you have a bit over 800 views in total over 10 articles. So, I just want to drive this point home, because it's not about the amount of views you get. It's about the impact that the content creates. And you are living proof that, there is so much impact in just reaching one person.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a matter of how I see things. It's never about the quantity. It's about the quality and the impact. So statistics is just the validation, but it's not the major thing. It's not about statistics. When you're in the statistics, you're more in the thinking mode. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me. What matters is make an impact. Just be who you are. Just come from a place of giving. And that's the best thing, just to be giving and giving and giving, and then the right people will come back to you. And also not creating expectations. If you publish an article in order for you to see how will you hit it and how many views you will have, you're lost. Maybe I'm too radical, but that's just my point of view.
You're totally right.
It's not about being right or wrong. We are all different. It's about being who you are. And if I can help even one person, that's enough for me. Because I see that statistics are interesting for me just to find out what the trends are. Because I want to find out the best topics also, because I have some ideas to go in depth and make some research on the topic effortless high performance. And actually, I was intuitively right about it, because the topics where I speak about authenticity and intuition and breakthroughs and effortless high performance, these are the articles with more comments and likes. And, I had a very interesting awareness, because I work with a coach. And once I shared with her, I always share with her my articles. And once I shared with her the article about giving feedback, and Then she said, okay, this is very well done. This is structured. This is getting to the point. It's a professional article, but I'm not seeing you there. And I said, okay, but I did this with so much love and it came so naturally. The topic came naturally. It was actually inspired by a conversation I had with a client. And she said, yes, but that's not you. So she gave me the awareness actually that it was my old, Elena, the old Elena when I was a CEO. So I was, because I was living the story back then when I was a CEO, that's why she was not seeing who I am today. And this was such an amazing thing. This was such a good awareness. And actually, she was quite right because the statistics there, coming back to statistics, were, this article was not the most popular one. So this is just a proof. So statistics is just a reference, but not the main thing. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
it's the impact. Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, there's another conversation that often happens. Like, there's another question that I get often from people. It's like, okay, now you have these people connecting with you. You start these, conversations here and there, maybe one email back and forth or one message back and forth. How do you go from one or two messages back and forth to actually meeting people, to actually having Skype calls with people? How do you do it, or how did you do it, and how do you do it now?
First of all, I always come from a place of giving. I don't care about the time invested. Of course, I take care of it, but not in this sense. You know what I mean? For me, what I want is the impact. I want to see the person on the other side happy, relieved that I have done something meaningful for this person. So I usually start a conversation, and people who are ready to be engaged in the conversation came back naturally to me. And there are many people who just don't come back to me. I want to point this out because it's not pinky as I describe it. So what? It's okay. We're talking about the 2%, the right people, the people who are ready, and we as coaches want to work with the right people, not with everyone, because coaching is a very deep relationship. It's based also on chemistry, based on alignment, and you want the right people to be engaged so that you can get the results you really want to get, the success, however we describe it. So it's starting as a conversation, it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and I don't measure the statistics, but I do believe that second, the third email, and then we move to a Skype call, and it happens naturally. And it's about investing time and giving and being really engaged into this unique situation with each person you start a conversation with. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, are most people that you have conversations with, most of them, do they ask you or point out in one or the other way that it would be good to have a conversation or have a call? Or is it you that's actively asking them to get on the phone or get on Skype or meet?
It's me, because very often people are not confident.
Yeah.
They come back to you, but then, you start the conversation, you start asking the questions, and I'm a coach. So I know intuitively how to approach them. And when they see that you're genuine, that you're giving, that you're not selling actually, they open up, and then I just suggest, okay, let's have a call then. Let's discuss this. And they say yes.
Yeah.
Some people even don't, sorry, some people, I just wanted to point this out, that some people which don't come back to you, many people feel rejected. I want to really to put a stress on this, and they feel rejected. And that's why they're afraid of showing up and engaging people in conversations. And I want to tell those people, it's okay. It's okay. It's not a rejection. It's not about you. It's about the other person, and everyone has a unique journey, and maybe these people are the right for you, but not in this moment. They're not ready. So just don't take this personally. Just let it go, release, and focus on what is really important to you. I just wanted to tap into this topic.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think it's a discussion we need to have, because, I mean, also with myself, I mean, I see this myself. It's like when I reach out to a lot of people and I don't get answers from most people, I feel, oh, did I write something bad? Did I say something weird? And it's a natural thing. But at the end of the day, it's first of all, it's normal. Most people just won't get back to you. It's just that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
No matter how great you are, no matter how compelling the message is, it's just the way it is. And then yes, you know, you pointed it out perfectly. It's not about you, it's about them. Everybody has a unique journey, everybody has its own priorities. Maybe they're on vacation, maybe they're this, maybe they're that. And it's just like, you don't know, you can't control those circumstances. You can only control what's in your control at the end of the day. You can't control other people. So this is a great, you know, thing to point out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just to recap in terms of moving from a conversation to a meeting or a call, or, you know, from messaging to an actual conversation on the phone or on Skype or something like that. So basically what you do in the engagement on LinkedIn, for example, is you set the stage. You set the stage for, okay, let's see if we're actually aligned. Let's see if we have enough in common to actually have a conversation. Let's say if I, you know, send you that message, if you don't just come back and say, oh, great, thank you. And then basically, because that's very often that's like I said, okay, maybe there's not really so much more we need to talk about. But then are you coming back with the question to me? Is there something meaningful that you're saying in your answer? Or is your answer just, okay, I get another email, let me just politely say one line and then I don't want to get another email from you? Like, what is that? Like setting the stage to make sure that when you reach out to people then and say, hey, let's have a call, then actually a big percentage of those people will say yes because you set the stage for that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I will say again, I always say something meaningful, because for me, what is important is the impact. Sometimes a word, a sentence might shift the other person, might make this person go in depth, find something new. And you already have this person who someday might come back to you when he or she is ready. And I had a similar situation recently, someone who found me via your network, connected with me, and this person just said, you know what? I admire your experience. I feel like you can have a valuable input. And I want you to help me. Can you share some of your tools? Because I'm having a webinar the next week, and I want you to help me. And I said, of course. And this is not a client for me. I'm not having any benefit, if you see this from these lenses, but I'm helping with pleasure, because I know that this way, through his seminar, I can create impact. I might touch more souls out there. And then this person will remember me. And one day, in 1 year, in 2 years, he might remember about this and he will come back to me. And then we might become partners. We might work together. So it's all about giving and creating impact. That's my message. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's just, I go through Tony Robbins' program, The Time of Your Life right now. And there's something in there. He said, the success of your business is not determined by the things that you do, but actually by the psychology about the things that you do. And I mean, you just reminded me of that, because the way you go into those things is all with the right mindset. And that's because all these great things are happening. You know, with that, people could say, okay, nah, you know, I'm not getting anything out of this, so I'm not going to do this. But you're actually moving into this by saying, hey, you know, maybe at some point something is going to come back. I don't know if ever something is ever anything is going to come back. But the way the universe works, it's always the same way. You know, if you give, there's going to come things back. Maybe from that person, but maybe not. Maybe from a totally unexpected, you know, direction.
Yeah. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I'm completely detached from results. I mean, I don't have expectations, because I believe in what you just said. It always comes back to you, and it always comes better and better, and that's what I observe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's okay.
So another question about the more detailed hows. How do you move from, okay, having a Skype call with somebody to actually then signing a contract with them? Because that's another next step, because like having the first connection is usually like, okay, having the first connection, but you're probably not going to sign a partnership contract or a client contract in that first conversation. So What do you do after you hang up the phone with that person? Or better, let's start different. What do you do in the conversation with somebody like that? When you jump on the call with somebody who you may not know if they're actually interested in your services or anything like that, but you're just having a more, no big agenda conversation.
What I do, I'm asking questions and I'm listening. I'm trying to understand what the challenges of the other person are, the wants, the needs, and then I assess the situation. As I said, I don't have expectations. I'm coming from a place of service to understand what's really going on here. And if there is alignment and if I can help, I have the, this competency, this knowledge to help. And then I usually follow up after I know more or less what's happening with this specific person, with this specific challenge. I follow up with an article or I follow up with a meaningful message. And this is thought-provoking. And usually the person comes back to thank me and to be more engaged in in-depth conversation. And maybe after the third, second, I'm not about the statistics. I don't know. Each situation is unique. The more important thing here is I always deliver something meaningful, which is unique and which is completely adapted to the unique situation of the person. So basically listening, asking questions, coming from a place of service and giving, and then it just manifests. That's it. It just happens.
Yeah. You just reminded me of something. A friend of mine, JP Morgan, is also a phenomenal leadership coach. And he was a speaker at one of the events that I was also attending. And he said, when it comes to business, when it comes to clients, it's not about finding clients or getting clients. It's about creating clients. And the way you do it is basically you go out there. If you're a leadership coach, for example, if you're a coach or a consultant or whatever in that business, you go out there and you basically live the life as those people will be your clients. You have these conversations that now come to you in a way that they would already be your clients. So it's on you to provide value for them. It's on you to create as much as you can to maybe to coach them actually in those conversations, because that's what we do anyway. It's like the natural way of us having conversations, right?
Absolutely.
When we just coach, we can't help ourselves. So
that's so
it's
true.
just the way it is.
Yeah.
So, and by doing that, you're naturally creating clients, and I just loved when you said that. It's just the most natural way of going about doing business. And you create clients, you create partners, you create investors, you create whatever at the end of the day that business looks like. That's what you are creating by having those conversations as they would already be clients or partners or whatever.
Wow, this is really beautifully said. We create them because very often people are not aware. Mm-hmm. And we're just provoking them, and these things come up on the surface, and they say, wow, I was not aware of it. So that's our work as coaches. We bring more consciousness to people, and then they might realize they have a need or they have a want. And that's where we come. So this is so true. I love it.
Yeah, you should definitely connect with JP Morgan, by the way. He's an amazing guy. I send you the link afterwards after the conversation.
Thank you so much.
So is there like a last piece of advice, a last piece of wisdom that you would like to share with people who want to generate more business on LinkedIn when it comes, no matter if it's clients, partners, or in whatever way and form?
Yeah, I would love to tell them, to all the people out there who want to do business in an authentic way, just to express themselves freely, to know their gifts, to remember their gifts, to know that they're unique and they have their own style, and just to be free to be who they are without trying to copy someone else. Because that's the only way we can create effortless power. Mm. Otherwise, if you force yourself, it's the other way around. You make powerless efforts. And authenticity is all about expressing yourself. just being, not trying. I would really love to finish this conversation with a quote, and it's from Brené Brown, an amazing author, and she inspired me so much early in my journey. So this quote is the following: authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. So that's my message.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you so much for being here and sharing, your story with us. And yeah, we're going to connect soon again.
And I thank you so much, Daniel, for giving me the inspiration and the space and time to share who I am.
Thank you so much, Elena. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.